Backstories are one of the many special things in One Piece, and you can call them Oda's speciality. So I have picked 5 of the saddest backstories yet, and I'll rank them in terms of how much each character suffered in the backstory and how sad it was. The list will be from the least saddest to the most tragic. So, number 5, Vinsmoke Sanji. Sanji was a failed project. All his siblings were literally superhuman, and he was just human. One of the only people who loved him, his mom, died. He was a normal human surrounded by science-boosted superhumans and was abused by them, and nobody did anything to stop it. Nobody cared to. He was literally locked away for being human. His dad wanted to deem that he never existed. At least he got fed. And there too his sibling bros found him and beat him up. At least his sister cared for him. Nah, Rich, I love you. Finally she helped Sanji escape from his family, and his dad appreciated him for it. Number 4, Trafalgar Law. Like, when he was first introduced in the backstory, he had already been through so much that he was basically soulless and just wanted to kill. Bro had to hide under the bodies of his own countrymen in order to escape. And when he finally met someone who was willing to talk to him, he got harassed. His people were massacred for basically no reason. His mom and dad died, and the person who offered him help and was probably his only option left for help, dead. All his friends, dead. And finally even his sister, dead. All this in front of his eyes. 10-year-old Law was broken, and he believed he was gonna die in about 3 years. And when finally he starts getting used to the Don Quixote family, he reveals that he has the D in his name, and gets taken by Corazon on a journey to cure his disease. And when they went from hospital to hospital, each of those ugly doctors saw Law as a monster. Then one day, the Apop fruit enters the story, and Corazon decides to steal it for Law, and in the process he gets shot all over his body. And Korra, half dead, asks Law to deliver a message to the Marines, which had intel on Doffy. And this was probably the biggest mistake that Law has ever done. Out of all the Marines on the island, he ends up giving it to Virgo, the most trusted officer in the family. And the rest, he got shot by his own bro, the Flamingo, and died. So, Law had lost everything, including hope, and when he finally found it, it was gone. Again. Number 3, Nico Robin. So, from the beginning, she was parentless and abused by her peers for having devil fruit powers, and when she fought back and beat their asses, they went crying to their mama. Her own aunt treated her like a slave, and little Robin was sad. And just when her life was shined with a bit of light with her becoming an archaeologist, which was her dream, she found a giant friend, and even her mother came back to be killed. Yes, mom dead, friends massacred, giant friend turned to ice, all in front of her very own eyes. Little Robin lost everybody she knew, and she was only saved by the pity of Kuzan. And out she went searching for friends, with Saul's words echoing in her mind. Number 2, Brooke. Brooke and the rest of the Rumbar pirates were a jolly going crew. They said goodbye to their pet whale, Laboon, promising to come back for him and enter the Grand Line. Upon entering the Grand Line, their misery began. Their captain Yorkie and a dozen other crew members were infected by a plague and had to leave the crew with the boat so that the others don't catch the plague as well. Then one day, the whole crew got poisoned, and they decided to sing one last song for Laboon before dying.
1, 2, 3.
Down to a quartet, a trio, a duet, and finally a solo. And Brooke remained solo for half a century, all alone in the creepy Florian Triangle, collecting his crew's skeletons. Number 1, Kuma. So, Kuma was enslaved as soon as he was born. He was threatened to be killed for crying when he was a child. Then he heard of his mom's passing and cried, and right after his dad was shot dead right in front of him for singing a song. There was an event being held in God's Valley where people were killed as game, and Kuma was part of it. As game. There, Kuma meets his savior, Emporio Ivanko, the king of queers, and Jenny. Eva helps Kuma eat the papa fruit and gain its supernatural powers. And Kuma manages to free 500 lives on God's Valley. So now, Eva set sail and Kuma and Jenny are living fairly happily, the happiest they had ever been. 8 years later, Kuma takes up his dad's job as pastor and cures people's pain, and at the end of the day, he had to sustain all of the pain of all the people he had cured. That's how his powers worked. Kuma has to be the kindest person in One Piece. Then government officials chain up and lock them up for basically protecting people. That's when they get rescued by the freedom fighters and become the Revolutionary Army. Then 14 years later, Ginny gets captured by the government and she was forcefully made a celestial dragon's wife. Roughly 2 years later, Ginny gets thrown out for getting a disease and dies. So Kuma starts looking after her daughter, Bonnie. Then they find out that even Bonnie has got the same disease. Then Kuma and the other villagers revolted and Kuma became the new king of Sorbet Kingdom. Then Kuma takes Bonnie to Vegapunk to cure her disease. There, Saint Shitty Saturn presents Kuma with a few conditions: to join the 7 warlords, to become a human weapon for the Marines, and to abandon his mind and free will. Shitty Saturn wanted to turn him into a mindless robot for the government, and Kuma accepts those conditions. Man, this was too kind. The kindest. And all the time Kuma was away writing letters to Bonnie, this bitch-ass annoying alpha bitch-asshole discarded all the letters. And all those times he appeared in filler box, Saboni, and all that, he was still sane and doing everything for the sake of the Straw Hats. Before Vegapunk could erase his sense of individuality, he asked him to program into him one final thing: to protect the ship of the Straw Hats until at least one of them returns. Before losing himself, he thought of Luffy as Nika, and asked Vegapunk to wish Bonnie a happy 10th birthday. This man was an angel among men. If Jesus was an anime, it's Kuma. So, Kuma has the saddest backstory in One Piece. Yeah!